I kill those people. That's what I can be. Hey guys, Movie Fan 356 here, and today I'm continuing my Superhero September Batman series reviews, and we're on the Christopher Nolan trilogy, and today we're going to be talking about The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is once again directed by Christopher Nolan, came out in 2008, 3 years after Batman Begins, and yeah, at the end of the first Batman Begins movie, which I didn't mention this in my review, but um, you know, Sergeant Gordon became Lieutenant Gordon. He gave him Batman a bat signal in the sky. He's like, "We'll take this guy," and they're switching between dialogue. And he gives him a car. Batman turns it over, and it's Joker. We're like, "Holy shit! We're gonna get the Joker in this film." And I that was probably one of the best endings to a comic book movie ever, in my opinion. And so now we're jumping 3 years later to the Dark Knight, and it's starring Christian Bale once again as Bruce Wayne Batman. It's starring Michael Caine as Alfred once again. You get Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox yet again. You get Gary Oldman as James Gordon, Lieutenant James Gordon, yet again. Um, Rachel Dawes has been miscast. She's not played by Katie Holmes in this film. She is being played by Maggie Gyllenhaal, which I'll talk about. And it's also starring Eric Roberts is in there, and as Salvatore Maroni, Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent, and of course I can't do this review without praising this performance of Heath Ledger as the Joker. Now, what I think about Batman Begins is, you hear me say this a lot, but I fucking love this movie. I do. I really, really adore it. In fact, this is my favorite comic book movie of all time. Avengers is close, yada yada yada. Really, Avengers is close, but it's like right on the line. But to me, The Dark Knight, my favorite comic book movie ever, and I'm gonna tell you why. Um, so first, let's talk about everybody's great as their characters. I already mentioned that in Batman Begins, but you want to talk about a guy who really got into this role. Heath Ledger as the Joker. Now, I was one of those guys who was not happy about the Heath Ledger casting choice because, I wasn't really too big of a fan of Heath Ledger. 10 Things I Hate About You was good. A Knight's Tale, I was like, eh. Lords of Dogtown, I liked his little role in that movie. Brokeback Mountain was, I think, the last thing he did before The Dark Knight. Like, his last big thing, anyway. And I didn't care for what he did in that movie, but that's just me. So I wasn't all that happy about the casting choice of Heath Ledger as the Joker. And, nobody could top Jack Nicholson, right? Nobody could top Jack Nicholson. Heath Ledger topped Jack Nicholson. I never ever thought I would say that in my fucking life. They're two very different Jokers, though. They're very... The Jack Nicholson Joker, he's kooky, he's funny, he's a little bit mad, but, not too psychotic, I wouldn't say. Heath Ledger's Joker, psycho. Psycho, very, very dark sense of humor. Holy shit. I could make a whole video just talking about Heath Ledger as the Joker. But let's talk about some new characters that are coming in. Aaron Eckhart is playing Harvey Dent, which, yeah, this is Harvey Dent that I wanted to see on screen. Now, Two-Face, I'll talk about that in a few minutes here, but, Aaron Eckhart did a phenomenal job as Harvey Dent. He was a guy that you could really, relate to in a way. Some stuff happened to him. You kind of felt bad for him. You could understand why he was doing what he was doing later on. But he was a really good guy as Harvey Dent. You really like the character of Harvey Dent, or at least I think most people do. I know I do. But let's talk about Rachel Dawes, who is not played by Katie Holmes this time around. Don't really know why she didn't come back, but I'm kind of glad she didn't come back. As much as I liked her in Batman Begins, and I think she did well in Batman Begins, I like Maggie Gyllenhaal better as Rachel Dawes. And I'm not too big of a Maggie Gyllenhaal fan. I really don't like her. But I love her in this movie here. I think it's great. um, yeah. Who else is in this movie that I haven't really talked about before? I've talked about Michael Caine. I've talked about Morgan Freeman. They all stay consistent throughout the whole trilogy. But the storyline, I should probably get into that. I'm talking about the cast and everything. The storyline is basically the Joker wants to terrorize Gotham. He wants to introduce a little anarchy. Um, yeah, that's what he wants, and he's trying to bring Gotham's White Knight, which is Harvey Dent, down to the ground. He wants to make him look like a bad guy. He wants to make it look like he's a fucked up individual, this Joker. And yeah, that's basically the plot of the movie. Batman has to save the day. That's it. But as I mentioned before, Christopher Nolan's trilogy is so grounded in reality. It's fantastic. It's amazing. There's not even words to describe this trilogy for me. Say what you will about the next one I'm going to talk about, but I'll talk about my thoughts on that one later. Um, yeah, the Dark Knight, my favorite comic book movie. Is it perfect? No. No movie is perfect. It's got flaws, it's got problems in there, but it's just honestly, and now I have heard some good arguments. Some people have kind of given off good arguments about, oh, well, I didn't like this because yada yada. They make valid points, but to me personally, all the problems in this movie, if I were to pick them out, it's just nitpicking. They're really, this movie's awesome. Uh, now yeah. Okay, so Harvey Dent is Two-Face. Let's talk about his acting as Two-Face. His acting as Two-Face is, well, he's angry. He's not over the top. He's not the Joker like Tommy Lee Jones was. He was a decent Two-Face. Now, I liked Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent a lot more than I did as Two-Face, though. But I think Two-Face was just kind of in there. I wish they would have done... Honestly, I wish they would have done... I liked the Two-Face, and I wish they would have done more with him. That's the only thing I guess I could say wrong about this film is there wasn't enough Two-Face. Like, maybe about the halfway point of the movie, have all that stuff happen, and he becomes Two-Face about the halfway point. That's what I would have wanted, but I guess I kind of understand where Nolan was going because, okay, you really have to be invested in this character. You got to care about this character. We got to develop this character to where you're going to understand later on. I get that. I respect that. So I can't really disagree. I don't know. See what I'm saying, guys? It's just nitpicking. So guys, that's pretty much all I can say about this film. Oh wait, no, it's not. I lied. So Maggie Gyllenhaal as Rachel Dawes I like I said. I already covered all of that, but Rachel Dawes dies in the film. Joker places Harvey Dent and Rachel Dawes in two different locations, and they're going to die at the same time, but Batman's only allowed to save one. So Batman's like, alright, the police will go to one, I'll go to the other. Of course, he goes to Rachel. But yeah, the cops try to get to Harvey Dent, but Joker switched up the addresses, so Batman got to Harvey Dent and the police got to Rachel, but they didn't get there in time. Warehouse blew up, Rachel's dead, and yeah. The other warehouse with Harvey Dent blew up too, but he was able to get out, and his face started to get burned up, and that's when he became Two-Face. That was just phenomenal. There's so many memorable scenes and quotes from this movie. This movie's hard to forget. Even if you don't like the film, which if you do not like this film, wow. I mean, I know film is all subjective, and that's okay. I say that all the time. It's okay. Different opinions. I like being able to debate with people, but The Dark Knight, man, I think that's probably my only exception, where I would actually be a little mad if you didn't like it. I'm being a crazy fanboy here, so don't take that too seriously. So many memorable lines and quotes. I mean, awesome, phenomenal performances. Heath Ledger in particular. Gordon becomes commissioner about halfway through this film. I thought that was cool. They're really developing the character throughout. They're not just trying to say, oh yeah, he's Commissioner Gordon, this is Batman, yada yada yada, we're going to talk. That's it. In like 15 minutes of the first movie. I'm glad they didn't do that. I'm glad they're developing the character. That, guys, I think that's really all I can say about The Dark Knight. I'm gonna give this movie, I think you already know, I'm gonna give it an A+. It's my favorite comic book movie. Yeah. A+ for The Dark Knight. What more is there to say? You know, why so serious? I'm gonna make this pencil disappear. How about a magic trick? I thought my jokes were bad. A bad Joker impression. I'm a little sick, so that doesn't help. A+, Dark Knight, that's all I can say for today. I'll see you guys in the next video.